The Mexican Tourism Board describes the Pacific Coast resort town of Puerto Vallarta as a gourmet's mecca, where taco stands and beach vendors exist alongside glamorous, award-winning gourmet restaurants. In this well-established Mexican tourist hub, the imprints of international tourism on the city's food culture are manifestly clear. Whilst local Mexican eateries still abound in the suburbs and back streets, in the centre of town the cuisine on offer is decidedly international in character, with a range of North American, European and Asian-style restaurants appealing to the foreign holidaymaker. This virtual landscape tour paints a picture of the city's diverse and vibrant food culture, from the suburban taco stand to the beachfront restaurant and the bustling malecon. I start at the popular Mercado Municipal Emiliano Zapata, a community hub with several fruit shops, butchers, fishmongers, and cheap eats known as comidas económicas. ¿Cómo se llama este restaurante?
Se llama La Fondita de Marina.
Ajá. ¿Y hace cuántos años han sido aquí?
15 años.
Ajá, 15 años. ¿Han visto muchos cambios en la gastronomía de Vallarta por lo general en este tiempo, en 15 años? Con el turismo, por ejemplo.
Pues sí, ha habido más turismo canadiense, más que americano.
¿Y la mayoría de sus clientes son vallartenses o también hay algunas de...?
En temporada hay de todo, pero normalmente es gente de Vallarta.
¿Qué es la diferencia aquí entre restaurantes como este y los que son en el malecón?
El precio.
El precio y también el ambiente, ¿no?
Sí, aquí es más así como casera la comida, es diferente. Y allá es más de gourmet,
One of the table staff at La Fondita de Marina tells me that foreigners make up 5% of Emiliano Zapata's population, and that there are several loyal Canadian customers that frequent this comida económica. He explains that the menu has expanded over time to include dishes like fajitas, quesadillas and sandwiches, which are not too spicy or exotic, appealing to North American tastes.
Hay un puerto muy bonito, en la costa de Jalisco, hay un puerto muy bonito.
Sí, cómo no, aquí en esta familia hay 3 chefs que se están preparando a nivel internacional, porque aquí es necesario que aprendas las comidas de otros países.
Next stop is the bustling intersection of calles Jacarandas and Carranza, where local cottage industries grade up against the global. On one corner of this intersection is La Tortilleria Alta Vista, which rolls hot corn tortillas off the production line. The whole process, from bags of kernels to the finished tortilla, is completed here in this humid, squeaking corner shop factory. Customers queue around the corner at mealtimes, eagerly awaiting their fresh dinner table staples. Across from the tortilleria, with its garish red yellow neon signage, is an OXXO, a 24-hour convenience store filled with soft drinks, confectionery, canned beer and trashy magazines. Inside, the aircon blasts and the rows glisten with foil and coloured plastics. This OXXO, which opened 3 years ago, is one of countless in the city of Vallarta. It stands out as a symbol of invasive globalization amidst the small, locally operated food providers which surround it. OXXO is owned by the powerful beverage company FEMSA, and has grown rapidly since its inception in 1977, now operating 11,700 stores across Mexico. In Vallarta, one needs only walk a block or two from one OXXO to another. There is raising public awareness of OXXO's monopolization of the convenience market, as shown in this poster produced by activist newspaper La Regeneración. OXXO has bypassed the traditional Mexican network of local wholesalers, selling beer and snacks through depositos and small abarrotes, or corner stores. According to La Regeneración, every new OXXO store closes down 35 local abarrotes in a 5-kilometer radius, deprives 50 people of their source of employment, reduces the profits of local corner stores by 40%, and expands the FEMSA monopoly. This poster encourages citizens to support the local economy with its family-operated stores. Opposite the tortilleria is the fish taco stand Tacos Carlápago. The stand gets its tortillas from across the road and its fish each day from the markets a block away. A taco de pescado, fresh off the grill, costs just over $1 and takes 2 minutes to prepare.
De Puerto Vallarta me enamoré de sus mujeres y de su mar, su playa y el agua que linda es, trópico y selva te dan tu luz, mis noches de luna en el malecón, hoy la recuerdo con mi canción.
From Calle Jacarandas, I walk a couple of blocks to the Farmacia Guadalajara in Insurgentes, where a line of half a dozen long-standing taco stands serve tasty snacks into the earliest hours of the morning.
La cucaracha ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta marihuana que fumar. La cucaracha ya no puede caminar.
¿Qué consideras como comida típica de Vallarta?
Las comidas típicas,
Sí.
pozole, tamales, mole, pescado zarandeado,
Mariscos aquí, ¿no?
mariscos, quesadillas, tacos, burritos.
¿Y hace cuántos años han sido aquí trabajando?
Aquí tenemos 45 años, amigo.
Qué chido.
45 años.
Pues son uno de los más viejos.
Somos
de Vallarta.
este y el segundo puesto. Este 45 y el otro 42 años.
Qué chido. ¿Y cuál cambios has visto aquí en 45 años? No tú
Bueno,
personalmente.
tengo aquí 8 años.
Sí, pero su familia. ¿Es de su familia?
Sí. Mi familia. Muchos cambios en que hay mucha gente aquí, o sea, más carne, más taquerías, más turismo.
Por el turismo.
Más turismo.
¿Y los clientes aquí son vallartenses o
Vallartenses,
o turistas?
japoneses, americanos, canadienses, australianos, de todo el mundo.
¿Y crees que el turismo es algo positivo para la gastronomía en
Claro
Vallarta?
que sí.
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 ¿No es una lástima que hay restaurantes americanos como McDonald's y Burger King y todo en el malecón?
No, pero no nos afecta mucho porque el turismo viene más a comer lo que es
Mexicano.
tacos, comida mexicana, tradicional o lo tradicional.
¿Hasta qué hora están abiertos en la noche? ¿Es solo
Estamos de 8 de la noche a 6 de la mañana.
Pues la mayoría de sus clientes vienen de los bares.
Sí, ya en la madrugada ya es gente que viene de bares.
Hay mucha fiesta aquí en Vallarta, ¿no?
Fiesta, sí, toda la noche hay fiesta.
¿Y qué es el platillo más popular aquí, en esta taquería?
En esta taquería,
Sí.
todo.
¿Todo?
Los taquitos de asada, de adobada, del pastor, chorizo, burritos, tortas, tenemos.
¿Y crees que por lo general la dieta mexicana es sano, es saludable?
Pues sí, todo es con moderación.
Sí. Pero hay muchas verduras buenas, ¿no?
Sí, hay muchas verduras, todo está desinfectado, el col, las verduras.
Qué bueno. Es verdad que hay algunos turistas que tienen miedo de comida de la calle, ¿no?
Sí, hay mucha gente porque, bueno, es diferente. Porque la vez que ha habido muchos problemas, pero aquí nosotros tenemos 45 años, yo tengo 48 años.
Tienen mucha experiencia.
Mucha experiencia.
Tienen
Nosotros
miedo.
llevamos un curso de higiene
Sí.
y nos hacen que tomemos un curso de higiene para que podamos trabajar los alimentos.
Like all the food operators interviewed on this landscape tour, the staff at La Hormiga indicate that the phenomenon of international tourism has been something hugely positive for the city and its gastronomic credentials. There's no bitterness about the cultural change tourism has brought with it. Indeed, most adopt a very understandable position of pragmatism. Tourism represents regular capital flow, and it's the lifeblood of Vallarta. There is no real concern about the chain eateries on the Malecon or the US-Canadian diners in the streets of Old Town. Those interviewed continue to operate successful small businesses, confident that their generous, tasty antojitos will continue to draw in crowds of both locals and tourists alike. It was also interesting to note Josefina's enthusiasm in describing the hygiene standards of her taco stand. Food operators in Vallarta are well aware of tourist anxieties about travellers' diarrhea, known here as Moctezuma's revenge. It's clear that for food operators in Vallarta, the needs of the gringo are never far from mind. As I head back along the main avenue of Basilio Badillo towards the beach, the culinary dynamics change rapidly. Taco stands give way to American and Canadian diners, frequented by grey-haired gringos seeking refuge in familiarity. In the heart of the tourist district, you'll find a German beer garden, a French bakery, Italian pasta houses, and a sushi bar. The taco stands are few and far between, tucking themselves quietly into side streets, out of the way of the bustling restaurants. Finally, I make my way along Vallarta's famous Malecón, a world away from the back streets of Emiliano Zapata where this landscape tour began. Along the Malecón, vendors sell fairy floss and popcorn, while a strip of white tents offer treats like deep-fried hot dogs, crepes, aguas frescas, and an array of cakes. It's all high-fat, high-sugar American-style indulgence designed for impulsive tourists. Many suggest that this sort of food is evidence of the homogenization of the diet. Indeed, Vallartenses often decry soggy Tex-Mex versions of their cuisine, pointing fingers to the north as a source of culinary imperialism. A basic observation of Vallartan eating habits, however, reveals that this position is one of inherent contradiction, given the popularity and ubiquity of Mexican-American food combinations. Nevertheless, there remains concern that cultural imperialism and McDonaldization may result in a global palate as well as a global cuisine. In Vallarta, there is certainly evidence of homogenization. The culinary tourist who pursues novelty, the emergence of fast food chains and international restaurants is a lamentable trend. After months of gastronomy, I've learnt that fulfilling the desire for authenticity is more complicated than first thought. Food is a complex cultural phenomenon bound up in relations of power and ideology, crossing national boundaries and reactive to regional and global shifts. Mexican food has changed considerably over time, with Spanish, French, Asian and African migration movements all leaving their marks on the country's food culture. In Vallarta, for better or for worse, it's the phenomena of international tourism that has reshaped the city's food culture. On one hand, it's certainly a shame that McDonald's, Burger King and KFC have gained traction here, but on the other, without tourism there would be far fewer taco stands and eateries. The Mexican Tourism Board is right in its characterization of Vallarta as a dichotomous culinary hub, where humble street vendors operate alongside expensive tourist restaurants. The hope for the future is that the city's food culture retains its local charm and resists the forces of commodification and standardization that so often accompany rampant international tourism.